Let's continue our conversation with Pat Buchanan. Pat, prior to the break, we heard Marsha Blackburn saying, look, they should have gotten somebody with some healthcare experience. Then you hear Dr. Fauci copping a plea for Iran claim. Do we need an Ebola czar in the first place?
Well, I think you might need an Ebola czar, and you might need a doctor, but what we got is a spin doctor here. You know, J.D., what I would suggest in this case, if I would have done or what I would advise the president, is get someone like General Leslie Groves, who was in charge of the Manhattan Project. Now, he knew as much as many of his scientists knew about how to build an atomic bomb. At the same time, he would knock heads and make decisions and get things done at the earliest possible time. You need someone, or either one man or two man. The one would be the executive with authority who would say, look, here's who can come out of Africa to the United States, and here who is not coming until this disease is taken care of. And the second person I would have right at his right arm would be someone who can tell you exactly what is happening in the field. The fact that these folks, all of them came out of exclusion there that were related to Duncan was excellent news, and someone to advise him, but that type of thing. But Ron Claim, I don't know what it is. I mean, here's someone who works for Susan Rice. He is not an authoritative figure.
Pat, with all this focus on Ebola, we haven't really been paying a lot of attention to a huge deal that could occur over the next 5 weeks, and that is a possible deal between the Obama administration and Iran. Do you expect the president to work out some sort of accommodation with Iran, and where would that put us historically?
Well, what I would mean, I'm favor the negotiations with Iran, and I think what we need, look, Iran has right now the capability, if you call them a nuclear capable nation, they are it. If they went all out to build a bomb, I think it would take them, my guess is much more than a year to explode their first one. People may disagree with that, but what we've got to get is assurances from Iran that they have no capability to do that within a set period of time. Secondly, that we would know about it instantaneously if they attempted to do it. And third, J.D., I don't understand. The American intelligence community unanimously said that Iran, with high confidence, Iran does not have a nuclear bomb program. They said it in 2007 and 2011. I, for the life of me, don't know why some congressional committee doesn't call Clapper up and say, now tell us, are they working on a bomb? Are they not? Do they have a program? Do they not? How exactly long would it take if they suddenly went for a bomb? I think we got to know all these things, J.D. I'm not against negotiations, but I think all of us want a solution that's a solution to this, and will leave Iran so far away from getting a bomb that if they ever make a move, we'd have plenty of time to act.
Well, speaking of Congress, you brought him up a second ago. We were looking at a frame capture of an article in the New York Times, I believe, where the administration believes it will not have to go to Congress in setting up this deal with Iran.
Well, this could be. They could run this through, as these things have been done before in the White House, where they're sort of executive agreements, but they're not treaties that require two-thirds of the United States Senate. But and that Obama apparently has the authority to lift various sanctions, but not others, on his own authority, basically. But my guess would be he's not going to bring back something that the Congress of the United States and the country will reject outright. And I think there's things going on here, J.D. One thing is, the Iranians are playing the Chinese and the Russians off against the Europeans and the Europeans off against the Americans. And if the Americans reject a deal that the others feel is acceptable, I think the Iranians will seek to drive a wedge through the alliance.
Well, we have less than a minute left, and obviously, Pat, you have your own ideas on foreign policy. You, I will freely admit here, in 1992, you tried to warn us about our borders, our language, our culture, what was happening here. 30 seconds remain. What keeps Pat Buchanan up at nights?
Well, I fear for the future of my country. I really do. I've become something of a pessimist of sorts, I have to say, J.D., as I tell folks when I speak to them, when you've got a guy whose last 3 books, are State of Emergency, Suicide of a Superpower, and Death of the West, he's not the kind of guy you want to invite to the barbecue on Saturday.
Well, we're always happy to invite you back, and we should note your latest book is Comeback, about Richard Nixon. Pat Buchanan will have you back real soon.